Hello, welcome to the Wednesday painting stream. I guess it's more of a hobby stream tonight, as I will be carrying on with these ogres that I've been painting. And Simon, what are you up to tonight?
So I am building and assembling some turrets for my latest scratch build project. I'm making an Imperial Leviathan or Squat Cyclops for 40k scale. So although my camera is slightly too low to actually see the whole thing, that's what we're looking at so far. It's a big old tank. There's a Space Marine for scale. And yeah, it's based on a couple of Baneblade kits and some other bits and bobs. I've got plenty left to do with it. But tonight I'm building some of the heavy bolter and las cannon turrets to fit on the side and putting some engine detailing on, and see what else I get done with. How's the ogres coming?
They're coming along. I still don't know what to do for the hair. So, but like I think that might be all that I'll have left by the end of the stream.
Excellent. We talked about contrast washing them, didn't we, last time?
Yeah. But I don't think there's enough detail on them, on the hair strands, for the contrast to work.
Yeah.
Like
I
this
guess
guy
you could
would.
also.
But
Yeah, the beards would.
but this guy's beard kind of looks more like streaks of plastic. But yeah, and then so I'm gonna finish. I think I'm gonna finish off picking off the bits on the grots. So like their socks with their toes poking out. Got some wash sepia to put on some of them, and then but the grots are basically done. Another grot, nobblers,
Nobblers.
and one just
There's grots,
escaped.
grots everywhere complaining loudly. Oh, we're not nobblers. Oh, it gives some credit.
He made a run for it. Okay, so back to trying to paint this guy. So
just a thought. The other thing you could try with the beards is maybe a little light dry brushing in a contrasting colour. So maybe go with sort of a darker grey beard and then a really light, give a sort of salt and pepper grey beard type effect or something like that. That might be another way to trick the eye into making it look like hair.
yeah, that might work. I'm not best at doing dry brushing, like we said on the stream last week. I go, I can't see it too much.
I guess the solution is just to throw some paint at the beards and hair and see whether you like it, and if not, paint it back and have another crack. Sometimes it's not until you get paint on it you think, oh, that's what I could do with that.
But
There's quite a lot of flash on these, even though I was doing my best to be a bit careful with cleaning them off. So I could be at this little bit for a little while. So apologies if you just tuned in. Tonight's stream is Ricky painting and Simon cutting small bits of plastic and not his thumb, hopefully.
Small bits of plastic for a giant.
For a giant space tank. Yeah, I've although as you can see, I've built the main sort of body of the thing now, and it's two Bane blades cut and shut together, double widthed with some sort of plasticard supports and then a plasticard sort of bunker on top. I'm also going to be adding a landing pad to the back of it. So this top section up by here will have a protruding landing pad sort of taking over the back section and overhanging the engines and the rear of the frame. And I've got our friend James from BSD Hobbies is actually 3D printing me an Iron Eagle gyrocopter, which is when this was a 6 mil epic scale model, what used to sit on the back of them. So like a little recon craft to go with it. Be quite nice. I'm quite looking forward to him doing that for me.
So the model you build in has never existed in 40k scale, is that?
It's no, it's there's a few other people have done their own sort of takes on it. So if you have a sort of Google across the internet, there's a few other people have done the project before me, and I've sort of looked at a couple of their ideas and seen the different ways they've done it. Mine doesn't look exactly like any of theirs, but I've taken sort of some of the ideas that I think might work and changed my own. I know, for example, that I'm not particularly good at cutting at angles, so my turret at the front. Sorry, see on camera. My section at the front is a lot flatter than the original model or the some of the other ones, so I'm going to be adding a lot more detail and some sort of liberties to the front here to make up for the fact it's a more of a tower block than an angled piece coming back. But yeah, it's an interesting one because sometimes the way it's described in sort of the stories is it's significantly taller than as modelled, but obviously there's a certain practical size you can build when you're building them. So we're sort of going with a compromise somewhere between what looks about the right shape but isn't necessarily the right size and what I can reasonably transport to a battlefield and play in a game. Right, I think that's all the flash gone off of that little lot.
So what have you built those like the tall section out of?
Oh, okay, so the tall section, oh, here's what I prepared earlier, it's almost like Blue Peter, is plastic ABS rod. So this is 6 mil profile, square plastic rod, same sort of plastic that the model itself is made out of. I've used those to create a box framework for the two levels, inside glued to the inside of the chassis, and then I've plated it over with thin plasticard, so 1 mil profile plasticard to keep the weight light, because if you've made it a more solid construction, it would be a little too heavy. I'm just wondering, can we post pictures into the chat? It looks like we can. No, we can't. How do we post images? I can post GIFs and emojis and stickers, but I can't post a picture, which is no use whatsoever.
You can,
For,
but you've got to give access to it and stuff. So yeah, it's not the best system.
pressing buttons wildly, trying to hit the,
Okay, so got the blank
yes,
on these guys. I tell you what, I can try and do it.
I'll say in the chat room, because I'm signed into the chat room as myself. I can't see a way of posting a picture into it. I could put one up on our Discord server. That would probably be the best. But so yeah, if you head on over to the Swansea Comic and Gaming Convention Discord server, I will stick some models up in the miniature section right now.
Okay, and I will put the link
Into the
into the
stream.
chat.
Perfect. Let me just work out the best way to do that because it involves going back to my phone.
Okay, so there you go. The Discord server is in the chat, so if you want to come along and join us talking about evening Sam, talking about models or comics or video games or anything really. Whatever you fancy talking about.
There you go. So there's a selection of those going up into the Discord now. Should give a flavour for where it's going.
And I'll chuck some photos up once we're done this evening.
There we are. Cool. Right. Make with the plastic glue, Simon. That's the answer. This is one of those ones I'm going to regret trying to do it all at the same time. But
So with this thing, how many points will your squad army be up to?
somewhere north of 10,000. I haven't actually worked out what this thing should cost yet. My answer on my postcard too. Yeah, it's, I'm looking at it probably being twice what a Bane Blade costs, if not a bit more. To allow for
It
the
is
fact
made of 2 Bane Blades.
it is. Let's see. Which kits did you use in it? How many? That's how many points it costs. But no, it's the sort of the background for it says it can carry an entire regiment of Imperial Guards, so 100 infantry. Although the model I'm making won't have as many. The 1d4 Chan thing says it has something like 8 or 16 heavy bolters and battle cannons. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on it. I think I've got that idea. Yes, quick undo.
Sam said in the chat, 10,000 squats. Damn.
10,000 points of Scots, not 10,000 Scots.
So how much is the Warlord Titan you've got on its own?
So originally the Warlord Titan. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't counting. Because although he's technically sort of a part, he's a separate project. But yeah, so the Warlord Titan, when it came out, was 4,000 points in the latest edition, and then the most recent chapter approved brought that up to 6,000 points. Which,
Right.
having played it a few times, I think is a little excessive. But
when I saw you playing against Titch with it,
yes, that game it was probably worth about 6,000 points. Played it 3 times since then, and each time it got blown up and didn't kill anywhere near its points worth from the opposing army. It's one of those things. If your opponent comes loaded for bear, then it's relatively easy to take down because it's only got a finite number of shots. It's got a lot of them. It hasn't got enough to deal with an entire army's worth of Daka deliberately targeting it. Especially if you're playing a game where the Warlord is your only unit on the board. So there's nothing else really to run interference for it. Whereas the game.
Sam is saying she doesn't think that her orcs would stand a chance against it.
Yes, no. I mean, the thing is, once you get into close combat with it, so I played our friend Andy, and he was running a Chaosy force, and he got some close combat dreadnoughts in with it, and they ripped holes in it. So yeah, once you get into close combat with it, it's a lot less scary, even though it's got a big punchy power fist. So it's sort of one of those things. It looks more intimidating than it actually is. I haven't played it with all of its possible weapon loadouts, but yeah, I think it's one of those ones that it feels scarier than it actually is.
So
but it looks cool.
was it the fact that you had the knight and a couple of other? What do you have? Knight and you had other things when you played Titch, didn't you? So
I think I had the Knight and it was the only two things. I think we went 4004 because he couldn't quite get what he wanted to in the list he was thinking of. So yeah, we went a bit over. So I ended up running a single Knight with it. But yeah, that game ended badly for him because he wasn't expecting the Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator, which is basically a really big plasma cannon. And that the first turn salvo took out a good sort of 3 or 4 units just from one gun. And after that, there wasn't really much coming back from it, unfortunately. But it was good fun. But
I gotta
yes, it
get
was
some
a.
plastic glue. One of these Noblas is a bit loose. I'll be
That's
back
all I
now.
can smell. All I can smell at the moment is plastic glue. That said, I'm looking forward to the time when we can actually get some more games in and more people can have a try against it. Because that's the thing, I don't actually mind times I've run it out and it's been destroyed. It's actually been funny watching it get destroyed. So, Sam, when we get a chance to play games again, I'm definitely going to let you get your orcs out against it and see how we go. It'll be funny either way.
See, I'm kind of with Sam. I don't think anything that I got would be able to. Uh,
You say that, but it's only 70 wounds. He says only 70 wounds. Um, and yeah, even though it's survivable, it's definitely not as tough as it feels like it should be, if you know what I mean.
only 70 wounds.
Only 70
You
wounds.
know, something that you can do 10 wounds to, and it'll just go, "'Tis but a scratch."
The other advantage though is that I roll dice terribly, so I'm usually fighting my own luck more than I'm fighting
Oh, I know that
whatever.
feeling.
Turret 3.
Okay, hopefully he will glue back on. But yeah,
What's the biggest game you've ever played, Ricky?
uh, I think probably about 4,000. But oh well, uh, but the thing was, we were basically just playing with everything we got, and it took us
Yeah,
like an hour or so, because we did. It was like one of the first games I played, and we didn't know the rules, and it just made it so much more difficult because checking every 2 seconds and
yeah,
everything. But like since then, I think I prefer smaller. Well, I've enjoyed doing like the escalation league in Carmarthen because that kind of let me learn more about the army as I was playing it.
yeah. I
Because
think always playing big games would get a bit sameish, and also yeah, you sort of get forced into a cookie cutter list almost. Whereas if you're building up to it, you've got to innovate as you go.
yeah, Sam said 70 points 70 wounds seems legit. Rolls all ones.
Yeah, that's how my saves usually go. But
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Thing would be, I'd have to try and get a pile of orcs into combat with it, and then hope that just the sheer volume of just the sheer volume of choppers put enough
yeah,
damage through to make you roll.
lots and lots of ones.
Yeah, but
Well, the other thing with it is the void shields and things don't work at close combat range as well. So yeah, once you're inside that sort of magic swinging distance, then I can only kill X number of you per turn, and I've got significantly less saves against the stuff happening than I have at range. So yeah, it's because what you used to have that was what Terminators with Thunderhammers used to be for, was going and whacking Titans with in big games of Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work out, whether like maybe the my Death Guard would have a better chance against you. But
Well, I don't know. Lots of orcs with power claws and things like that would also do death dreads and things like that. It's basically the trick is weathering the storm of fire to get in, because mostly you can't outrun it because it's got such big legs. It's got ridiculous movement, um, and it's got a lot of DACA. So yeah, but yeah, once you can, although it has got a beautiful rule with the dreadnought or the Titan Power Fist it's got, where if you kill a unit with that, you can pick that up and throw it at something else if it was a vehicle or monstrous creature that you killed. Which did lead to a beautiful bit in the game with Titch where I threw one of his Vindicators at his Stormhawk Interceptor and took it out with with a passing shot, which was a nicely cinematic. You just imagine the poor Space Marine pilot sort of going past, tank coming through his windscreen.
yeah, there's no such thing as a poor Space Marine.
They deserve everything they're getting, right?
uh, Come on. Oh, hang on. No, I take that back. Poor Chaos Space Marines.
Not anymore. You've had new codexes. You're good again.
Yeah, well, Death Guard have. Chaos Space Marines haven't yet, have they?
Well, no, but they had a new codex for last edition as well, which was a significant upgrade on how I used to play them.
But Nick yeeted one of my trucks into a unit of looters before. Sam's saying that Nick um, threw one of it, one of her things. Has Nick got a Titan as well then?
No, but some of the AdMech stuff can do similar, or maybe with one of the knights can.
So yeah, I like the idea of a massive game, and it looks cool when it's all set up. But oh my god, it takes forever.
Oh, it does. So my friend Neil and I once played a game when we both lived back in Portsmouth. I had a bit of a bachelor pad then, and we took over the entire front room of it. I think we played something like 15,000 points aside, and it took us the best part of a day and a half to play. And obviously the turns got shorter as the game went on. But yeah, it was something like hour and a half per person's turn for the first few turns as we moved all of the stuff. It was epic, but oh my god, it took a long time.
She said it was an armiger, not a knight.
All right, yeah, the smaller sort of Night Guardian things. Right, I need to put the little back on my lid, leave them dry. Let's put some exhaust on while we think about it, because they are on the same sprue.
Um, like some of my favorite things have just been like stupid things like um Kieran Jenkins forgot um that he had bonuses against my like most of my death guard for demons against, so like watching Mortarion just walk in and kind of like turn by turn make people disappear. Oh, that
Nice.
unit's gone. Now let's move over here and get that unit. And but like in return, when I played him with my orcs. Um, uh, Grandmaster Caldo Drago is it?
Yeah.
Um, he kind of just punched. I managed to charge him with three different bloody buggies. I think he killed them all. Just punched them to death.
Oh, it's good when you get cinematic bits like that, though. So even if you're on the receiving end, sometimes I quite enjoy a good loss if it's been done well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So providing you're playing the game with your friends and you're both playing for fun, I don't care whether I win or lose. So I'm happy rolling dice and chuckling over the misfortunes of my miniatures. Actually, though, if we ever do get a chance to have a really big game, we should get for a proper green tide.
What was that?
Because between you, we should get you and Sam teamed up as orcs as a sort of proper green tide. So I bet you guys could put a fair few down.
Yeah, I could probably. I don't know. I haven't done um a full list for a while. Let me check Battle Scribe. I did put it all into not full not full things like proper
So that's
loadouts and stuff, but
so a rough how you go. There we are. So that's the engine exhausts on for starters. But I think what I'm probably also going to do is take this section here, which is going to be underneath the landing pad, and add some more engine detailing to it as well. Because I've got a few bits that have come off some of the sprues that I won't be using. They're going to go onto that. So I'll pop you over there and find the sort of next part of this.
I have plenty of uh sprue, some bits if you need anything. It's just a bit chaos and ugly or orgy, but it's still good.
It's still
Just
good. I'm slowly trying to whittle my box down because over the years I've picked up far too many bits. I mean, that is just the bag of things that I thought might be useful for adding bits of detail to the Baneblade, or to the Leviathan, sorry. So I was sort of rifling through my box last time I was at the shop and said, oh, I'll grab that, grab that, grab that. I sort of walked out with a massive bag full of things. Oh, maybe a few too many things in. But yeah, I use those to break the square lines up.
yeah, Kieran always says to me, because he doesn't keep anything because he's an Imperial player.
Why
um,
not keep anything? I've got loads of Imperial spares.
he just like whereas I just keep everything from the sprue that I don't use, basically.
Yeah,
That
you
it,
never know when it's going to come in useful.
yeah, and like I do have to. I forgot I had to pick up his Lehman Russ earlier, but I was supposed to take a Chaos icon of Nurgle to drop off at Miles, but I forgot and I've just remembered now. But it's in my box. It's in my bits box, ready to go over to him. So I'll have to do that at some point. But
And it's nice to have a pile of things that you can if one of your friends says, "Oh, I'm doing this version. Has anyone got thing X?" And you go, "Yes, I have."
and
And,
that's it. Yeah, I just want to keep it all. You know, like I said, when I dabbled with Warhammer when I was a kid, it was one of the things I loved about the orcs was uh the idea of them just stealing anything off the battlefield.
yeah.
So like
Now the question is, do you keep the sprues as well as the contents of the sprues, or do you spend time after making a kit de-spruing it all
okay,
so
so
it takes less time?
I keep up until about 2 weeks ago, I had all the sprues as well, but
Oh man,
I spent because I bought a new box for it for all my bits. So I spent a good, I think I must have spent about 3 hours just cutting off all
Oh,
the bits
the,
from
the blisters you must have had.
all the bits from the sprues, and
What I'll tend to do is, if I've got a section of pieces that I'm not using, I'll tend to trim the sprue down just to the piece that I'm keeping, so I can recycle the rest. Save on a bit of clutter that way. But yeah, for little things like weapons and stuff, I'll usually desprue it completely.
there's like bits that I did just there's bits that I did just kind of go, you know what, I'm just gonna cut a big chunk of sprue off here as well. It was
Yeah,
just
never
easier.
going to need that. Oh, there was a point back in time where I would have kept the sprues as well, just for using the sprues as building material. But with internet being so much better these days for things like plastic rod and stuff that used to be harder to come by, then less crazy creations made out of offcut sprue than there used to be from me. I was chatting to some other lads who from time to time I play games with, and I'm going to chat with them and talking about sort of scratch building versus not. I think it's we came to the conclusion that it's a when you started playing thing, because back sort of when we were kids, Ricky, a lot of the stuff there wasn't the scenery for, there wasn't the specific kits for. They hadn't got around to making all those sort of things yet, and some of the things they never were going to make. So, like with the orc looted wagons, you had to build it yourself. Whereas today, there's so many good kits, and the kits are so much better than they used to be. There's almost less incentive to try and build stuff, because you can just pick up a kit that's really good for it.
Yeah, and like I do want to because like it was the thing that made me like orcs. I've always wanted to do a looted wagon or something like that, but I'm not even sure if they're in the codex anymore. I don't think they are.
They weren't in one of the codexes, and then they released. But the thing is, just use it as a truck. It would be a cool thing, or just use it as a battle wagon. Make it
Yeah.
cool. It's a truck or a battle wagon, depending on what size you make it. And
Are you trying to sell me a tank, Simon?
no. Oh, in the orcs I sold to Sam, there was an old armor cast resin baneblade hull that had come. I'd had it as part of a job lot from something. So that is basically a really big looted battle wagon. I don't know whether she's done anything with it since then, Sam. So looking at the chat. But yeah, that sort of had been orcified and had a couple of platforms and a driver glued onto it by me to make it look a bit more orky. Because the old armor cast Baneblades weren't as big as the modern era Baneblade kits. Probably as expensive, mine back in the day, but yeah, someone had clearly half vandalised it, sold it on, and not known what to do with it. And I was like, that'll do it as an orc thing.
Still part of the collection, she said.
Nice.
There is a couple of things I still need for my orcs. I don't really think I need anything else for my Death Guard, but I do kind of still. I want a stomp, but I know they're not supposed to be very good. But come on, it's just this big.
It looks cool.
Yeah,
Flower pot of death.
yeah. Um, and I do want one of them. Even though, yeah, and it's storage as well. With it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time you'd store it on the shelf, that because it's such a nice model, you'd want it out and displayed. So storage is only really a problem if you're either short of general shelf space, or if you're trying to transport it somewhere that is far from where you're going to be playing.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. I must have got about 5,000 points worth of orcs now, at least.
Yeah, there gets to be a point where you sort of don't need any more, but you sort of think, oh, I could do this with a list, or I could do that with a list, and there you are down a rabbit hole buying another big pile of ones that you don't genuinely need.
I don't need any more boys at the moment, but I'm still part of like selling groups, and when I see like boys come up, it's like, ooh, boys. That's gonna be clipped, in it?
Yeah,
For Chris.
yeah,
Ooh, orc boys. I could probably use another, and it's like, no, I don't need. I can't. Well, I could field like 2 battalions or something and just have like
yeah. All of the troops in the
120 boys and stuff, but
yeah, you're into movement trade territory. It's like movement phases your opponent goes for.
uh, and but I'm just trying to think now. Yeah, I haven't really given the orcs a run out for a while. Last few games I've played has been Death Guard, so they do need it.
Just set yourself
Oh,
a challenge
oh
once
well,
they're next.
the last game I did play in the shop when you briefly opened was orcs versus Space Wolves. So technically, the last game I played in like against someone was, well, someone who wasn't Kieran was was my orcs, but that was quite a small game as well, and it was just like, okay, I've got Gazgal, I've paid for a commission, he needs to have a turn on the table. It was like the rest of the list didn't matter. I don't even know what I run apart from Gazgal.
Yeah, Gaskell got his day in the light. How did he do?
um, well, considering the guy I played, John, run Ragnar, which came with, which was the other model in the set that came, like the Saga of the Beast set, Prophecy of the Wolf.
Yep.
Um, yeah, he didn't stand up at all against Gazgal.
Oh,
As soon as Gazgal got into battle, into punchy distance, he just ate through everything like he's supposed to.
yeah, I do like the new Gaskell model. He is very
And I loved the like the advertisement they did for it, where they based it all around Makari.
nice.
So like it was Makari, oh, and his friend Gazgal.
Yeah, they've got very good at their advertising recently of Gamesworks. They've clearly hired the right people in their social media and product placement departments.
And like it's weird because like I remember like back in the in the 90s when I did dabble with it briefly, being impressed by like kits back then and seeing the older kits now in comparison to like the new.
Yeah, they sort of get kicked out of the park these days, don't they? So
Yeah.
they've definitely upped their game on that front. Right. So I needed to those into those. Now here's the challenge: can I make these turrets right without making any of them back to front? Um, and cursing and having to do it all again. Because some of these I want facing backwards as sort of a rear defensive arm, and
So have
somewhat
you
facing forward. So
uh
Please wait, Ricky loading.
I know, sorry. I was gonna say, and I'm trying to think of colours and think of what I was gonna say. So, have you collected more or less every army?
Yes, other than AdMech. So for a while, I had 2,000 points plus in literally every 40k army. This was before AdMech had come out. And then I got to a point about 2-3 years ago. I realised that although it had been fun collecting them, and I'd sort of most of them were, if not fully painted, at least a good chunk painted. I just wasn't playing a lot of them, and partly that was due to reasons of time because 2 small children will eat into your gaming time a lot. Part of it was some I just didn't necessarily get on with the play styles with. I always back playing my guards and my marines, which were my first love. So I've downsized now. I've sort of slowly sold a lot of them off, which is how you've ended up with your chaos, and Sam with her orcs, and Jack with my necrons, and
Kieran Jenkins.
Kieran with my with my grey knights. Yeah. Yeah, so I've sort of slowly downsized. So now all left is squats as guard, a very small battle company of marines, and a couple of big vehicles like the Mastodon that I was painting last week, and that's down from what was that? At one point, I had over 10,000 points of marines plus 2,000 point bike company plus stuff. Yeah, it's too much stuff, and then a small-ish Tyranids force, so about 3,000 points of Tyranids, which again I need to give a run out, or I need to think about getting shot of if I'm not going to. They were one of my quicker painted armies, so they probably won't have stood the test of time next time I get them out of the case. But as I might have mentioned a few times, I'm not the world's most tidiest painter, so they were a very quick sort of McCrag blue washed in Nuln oil with some teething bits put on style paint scheme.
So,
Although,
was so are Marines your favourite? Are they?
no, the Guard have turned into my favourite. Marines were the first army I collected, so back in the day I had a box of the Beaky Marines and a few of the metals, and then following that I got a box of squats, but never really did anything massive with it back in the day. And then I built up the Marines over the years, and then had started sort of trying to work out what I was going to do with the squats when they sort of got put on the back burner and then retired by Games Workshop. I was like, I put them together. What do I do with them? So I decided that they joined the Guard, and then sort of mid 2000s did a conversion project to turn what I had into sort of playable Guard stuff and squattified versions of the Guard characters, and things like that. And I had a couple of donate bits of squats they had lying around and managed to get in before they went stupidly expensive on eBay, because despite the fact the plastics are really not that pretty, they command stupid money on eBay. So yeah, I won't be adding any more to my squat. Prices are just ridiculous for what are actually quite old, outdated figures, and I've got so many that I need to finish painting as well, because I sort of got halfway playable army and then installed. So I've got more than enough figures painted for most sizes of game that I'll ever play, but I think I've got something like 2 full companies, so companies, platoons, I don't know, 150 plus infantry, as well as all the associated vehicles and bits and bobs with it. So yeah, more than I'll need. And I've sort of found other ranges, so like the Mantic Forge Fathers, their Dead Zone game, they make quite nice Militarum Tempestus. The Bob Ollie, who was one of the original sculptors, did a range called Scrunts for a while, which was his way of using the the minis that he still had the copyright on the miniature for, if not. So I got some very nice sort of psychers out of that range. Hassle-free miniatures, although they're not quite the right scale. And a few of those as counts as veterans with mining gear and things like that. So yeah, there's a good old pile to it, and far too many tanks. I think at last count I was on like 7 or 8 Lehman Russes, and variants thereof, a Baneblades, 3 or 4 Hellhounds, 5 or 6 Chimeras, 3 Basilisks. Too much stuff, really. And again, you never get it all out, and you tend to sometimes trap yourself into playing the same list over and over because it's your most painted stuff, or it's your favourite loadout, or whatever. So I resorted to having to sort of challenge myself. I was like, right, tell a story. So give myself a theme. Right, how much fast attack can I get into a list? Make something interesting out of that. So you go for a mechanized recon platoon where you give all the guardsmen chimeras for transports. You take as many sentinels as you could, and sort of see how you did with that. So that's the last few games I've played with them. I've sort of played around with how do I do this differently and field something unexpected but vaguely thematic.
Yeah, I usually, if I buy something and I think it looks cool, I gotta try and work out a way to get it in, and I will
Yeah,
basically just pick pick a li start with the thing I want to run, and then work a list around it.
Beverly, yeah.
So,
Do you always get fresh model syndrome though? No matter how
oh,
cool it looks, fresh model is the first thing to die.
yeah. Well, most of the time. Sometimes it's something like Gazgal who just stays there because of the rule with four
Yeah,
wounds a
it's
turn, a phase.
a little harder to shift then, but hey.
But yeah, it's usually. And I think Kieran basically goes for the thing, the new thing, just to spite me sometimes.
I think a lot of players do. I've had similar experiences with other people, so
It's like,
sometimes
oh,
that's
you want to run that, do you? Bang, bang,
punk.
bang, dead. And like,
See, the
uh,
trick is turn up with a completely new army, and then they won't know which thing to shoot.
yeah, it kind of wouldn't work with Kieran. He just, well, most of all we played was uh, eighth ed, and
Yeah,
he runs either wolves or fist. And when he's running fist, it's a nightmare for my orcs because he just sits there and shoots
that's
up.
to run into the bullets. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like, I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. As one lonely orc runs in, gets punched in the face by like Torgaradon or something like that. But yeah, so like, yeah, it wouldn't work against that. I have a bit more success against his wolves, apart from like um because he doesn't run them in like he should.
yeah,
Like they like punchy things as well, so he should be running them in, but he kind of sits back, and then it's like, sit back, I don't mind. But then you stupid. Oh, what's the character Dreadnought?
Bjorn the Fell-Handed.
Yeah, Bjorn the Fell-Handed. He's not fun. Yeah, he just kind of
Mulches
punches.
things and burns them with plasma.
Yeah, and it's just like, ugh. Jeez. Yeah.
I'll see for a while for fun. I used to run all dreadnought lists in, I think it might have been sixth edition actually, for Marines. So I'd have it was when they made Tech Marines a proper HQ rather than Elite. So you could have Tech Marine HQ, a sort of Master of the Forge, and then that made dreadnoughts count as troops. So I'd have all dreadnoughts in drop pods plus a Tech Marine, and that was my 2,000 point army. And it was really funny sometimes, and other times they'd brought a tank and you just died horribly, especially with back then when penetrating hits, you just had a 1 in 6 chance of instantly losing the thing. There wasn't any wounds or anything like that. So it was a list that either worked really, really well, really, really badly.
Yeah, I guess that's what I get a lot of is like things either go well for me or I'm just watching a sea of green die, and that goes for either of my two main armies. uh, like I think I managed to get a game in with Sam when we were on like when lockdown was diminished last year, a little bit in the summer, and I played my Death Guard versus her. Um, I think it was Guard with some Sisters of Battle,
Cool.
and yeah, my it was basically sea of uh, a sea of zombies walking up the field into gunfire, just trying to get over to the other side so that they could fight. And you know what it's like. Oh, these guys haven't got guns. They need to be in fighting, so I'm gonna charge one. I'm gonna
Oh,
spend spend a command point one.
yeah, I've had those games.
Yeah, poxwalkers, eh? At least they, at least when they get shot to pieces, you don't have to morale.
Yes. I used to, um, the defilers that I sold on to you, every time I play my fight near, they get immobilized no matter what I did, whatever tactics or sneakiness. He'd always manage to get something and immobilize them, and they then always end up facing completely the wrong way to do anything for the rest of the game. It was frustrating.
Yeah, it's like it's just like one of those things, isn't it? You want to scream sometimes. She said, yeah, it was Imp Guard and Sisters. So like, uh, yeah, and you know, you get that good idea where I think it was the first time I ever run Typhus to buff the to buff the Poxwalkers, and it didn't really work because they just couldn't get anywhere. They're just so slow. But in the new one, uh, where it seems to be more about capturing objectives, chucking some Poxwalkers on an objective means that you've got to come to me. So
Yeah, and they don't go very far, very fast, Poxwalkers, do they? So
no,
shift them off an objective if they've got some cover, and things can beat the devil's own job.
yeah, they haven't got the uh, disgusting resilience anymore. But I think they've actually got a save now. I'm not sure though. I haven't had a proper
You'll win.
look.
You'll win some, you lose some. That's the thing. It's hard to get motivated to prep for games, isn't it? It's when we don't know when the next game's going to be, but it's relatively easy to get motivated to do this sort of stuff because it's still fun, even if it's going to be another 3 to 6 months before I get a chance to run it out.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I might be able to get some games in soon though. So I don't know. I'll have to let you know.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get to a point with everyone getting vaccinated. Won't be too far away. Can but hope, eh?
Yeah. So it's. I'm hoping that someday we'll be allowed to play games again.
I'm pretty sure it's coming. It can't be that much longer. But yeah, you just don't want to rush it too much because I'd rather get to we can play games without having to worry about keeping your distance from the table and things like that. And if that takes a couple of months longer, then I'm sort of good with that because, to be honest with you, all the restrictions that we had to put on for the shop for that brief period we were allowed, it took a lot of the fun out of gaming. I don't know if
Well,
Sam felt the same while she was back in the last bit, but it seemed more of a chore than it.
yeah. Well, it was like when I did have that game against John, because the no touching the scenery rule
Yeah,
kind of was awkward, but because
yeah, just a little.
we just kind of ignored it. It might as well have not been there, to be fair, in the end,
Yeah,
because we didn't go in there to get the cover because we didn't want to touch it. So we didn't want to have to call Tom every 2 seconds to go, can you let us get figures out of there? Or whatever it
yeah,
was. But yeah, it I got it, and like even though I'm saying, oh, I can't wait, at the end of the day, I want it to be done safely. I don't want to
yeah,
just rush back to it and then us have to go back into lockdown again and everything like that. I just want them to do it properly this time, where if we're either out or we're not.
yeah, yeah. Totally get that.
So not like last time. I need more colours.
Music to my ears, Ricky. Music to my.
Oh, I've bought plenty off you in during lockdown. It's just I haven't got them on my painting station.
Ah, I see. Curses. I thought I could sniff a sale there.
No, so I just need to. I didn't pick up my metallics, so I could
Oh,
do with a couple more metallics just to decorate these bloody shields on their bellies. And but I'm always I'll probably see something and go, you know what? I need that color.
yeah, that's how he gets you.
Yeah. Oh, I did mean to. I've been meaning to message about. I don't know if I've missed it already, but the pre-orders for the X-wing.
Yes, afraid so. You wouldn't have done, but our supplier sent us a thing saying available. Um, so yeah, basically there will be more coming,
Just
but
when?
they're going to be splitting into two waves, and we don't know. Yeah, we don't know when the other half are going to be. All right then. I hate these little bits together. It's really awkward.
Yeah, so because I do want to get back into X-Wing a bit more as well, because that's fun and easy if you don't play it too competitively.
Yeah,
And
and yeah, as we've said before on stream, it's a nice crowd of people play at the shop as well. It really helps things as well.
but Kieran bought um few new stuff off you, so you probably want a game, and that's kind of what I've been why I've been missing playing, because like if Kieran's not playing, then it's like
Yeah, you can't get in to see the rest of the crowd.
yeah, but if with him buying stuff, maybe I'll get a game soon.
Fingers crossed.
But
Hey, one turret.
so we're up to 69 followers now.
That's
So
only a little bit to get to that magic 75 where we can start giving stuff.
yeah, that's what I was just about to plug. Is that when we get to 75, we will start giving you stuff. So get your friends, get your family, get whatever to, you know, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, and also let us know what you want to see on the stream. We've just put together this little this schedule just off like little bits and pieces, things that we can do. So if there are other things you'd like to see on our streams and on our channels and everything, just let us know. We can make Adam do it. But so stuff that we've got coming up, we've got Sam tomorrow.
What's Sam doing tomorrow with his magic deck tech?
I'm not sure. She's in the chat, so maybe she'll let us know.
What?
So Sam's magic stream tomorrow. We have got some magic cards to give away if we get to 75 followers. Hint, hint, guys. Um, we've got oh, I think we're going on to Mario Kart on Friday um instead of
Instead of Among Us?
Among Us, after Simon killed me constantly on.
Or hashtag not sorry.
I know, I was telling someone about that earlier. I was like, yeah, we didn't mention it, but it's like an unwritten rule. Everyone knows that I'm going to be a bit slow off the mark because I'm sorting out stream things. And as I finished sorting out the stream, I looked up and Simon was killing me.
This is why unwritten rules need to be. Uh, I like the fact that I've now got the reputation as a complete shark as well, because I was like, I've barely played this, which is entirely true. I'd had maybe 2 games of it prior to the stream. Um, and that with a completely different bunch of people who, when we played it, we were literally just messing around and talking we were talking while we were playing, so it wasn't a proper game at all. So I had next to no idea what I was doing, didn't know my way around or whatever, and yet seemed to always end up being the imposter and happened to trick everyone. So it was good fun though.
Yeah, okay, so because of the problem she had last week, she's going to be redoing the stream that she did. So the deck tech of the
Was it
video.
Cranko?
I don't know. It's normally words I don't understand. So okay,
There we
so
go. So that's that number 2 done.
and then Saturday it'll be Stardew Valley, and
So how's that coming along for you guys?
it's going quite well. I think I haven't got her hooked on it yet. um,
She's still playing, mind.
yeah, she's still playing. I think she said she enjoyed it a bit more this week. Um, but I'm I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I like the game. I couldn't believe when Sam sent that thing. I need to order that. So
I haven't seen any supplier details for it as yet, but
all right.
yeah, as and when I do, then I will find out how we get you a copy because yeah, that'll be right up your street. Stardew Valley, the board game.
I'm not addicted. I can stop
I,
anytime I want. Like I can stop streaming now and go and play that instead. um, but yeah. And then the Pokemon one is more casual on a Saturday evening. I just kind of play it, making my way through a Pokemon Sword playthrough, first playthrough of it. Lavinia is the tech,
Lavinia, there we are.
yeah, is the tech deck she just come back with. So um yeah, I think I'm at a point where I'm not done, but without going and digging out colours, that I am gonna have to end for there for me today.
No worries.
Um,
I'm so get a couple of the ones I've done on just so what's what the thought is with them. So these are going to sit on just by here and just by. No, they're not. I'm going to have to do a little bit of working around because they've got a little nodule under here to clip them to where they're meant to sit, but they're handed and sided. So that one basically it wants all the guns to be forward to be aiming backwards. So I'm just going to have to take my saw to the underside of that and trim off the attachment point to get it to fit where I want it. But yeah, so I'll end up sitting like a pair of turrets. See, like that. There we are. So front and rear mounted armament there.
Sam has said the Stardew Valley.
Oh, it's a
Stardew
USA
Valley.
exclusive.
Yeah, damn it. But yeah, we'll have to do some more something on the streams anyway. Maybe we'll all have to sit down and do some sort of role playing.
We did talk about it, didn't we? So
Yeah.
get ourselves around to organising that.
Yeah, so that could be like a Friday night thing, because that's usually the group stream. So instead
Yep,
of video gaming one week, we can maybe do a
a
do
role play.
an
Do the do.
RP, do the do.
Cool. Who are we going to get to run that then? I've got no objection to running something. But if anyone else has a
Um,
thought, then maybe we can see if we can get someone to guest run or something.
yeah, we could do.
That'd be reach out to people we know who are role playing authors and designers and see if any of them fancy running us a game. Of course, we do this common stuff just for our own benefit. Can we play with someone famous, please?
Yeah. I'm sure we know a few people. Keith will do it again.
I would love for Keith Baker to run a game for us again, but partly we're in the wrong time zone, and partly I've seen recently he's already running some online games as part of his current project. So he's doing a fan involvement campaign where sort of he's running a series of episodic games, and each week he changes which characters are participating, and sort of is soliciting that from his followers. So I've been tempted to try to go, but I don't know. So I struggle to enjoy the online games as much as I do the in-person. Something sat around the table with your friends. Yeah, having Keith Baker run us a game would be very lovely. And if I'm feeling cheeky, I might send an email and ask. But I was also thinking we could perhaps talk to some of the role-playing authors that we had lined up as guests for
Yeah.
last year's event that never happened, and see if any of those are up for a game. We shall see. Watch this space.
Yeah. I I'm happy to like just play for a change. I don't particularly want to run it. The last one I run online, the yeah, the group got a bit unruly. So
Oops.
no, it was fun. It was fun. It was three people's first ever game. So
Yeah.
so like, but then the experienced players kind of not purposely, but like kind of led the way down
Yeah.
down.
I it, yeah. It. I think a lot of how well a game goes depends on what everyone's expecting from the game when they get started. So if the GM's got in mind to run, players want to do is make funny jokes and sort of have a bit of a hack and slash. Then it can often be a bit of a mismatch, and vice versa if the GM's got something entertaining and silly planned, and all the players have built deep and meaningful emo backstory characters. Um, it often doesn't work as well. So yeah, I always say to people when they're planning games, talk to your players, find out what sort of game they want to play and what sort of game you want to run. Set the expectations before you do your session zero, and then people are creating things that will fit in with it well.
So I've dropped photos of how my ogres are looking into the Discord, which I'm gonna drop the Discord link again. But yeah, join us on Discord to chat nerd, and we've got a few different channels. And
They are looking very shiny.
so yeah, they're coming along. I think I might just try and finish them off stream because it's fiddly bits and talking while I'm painting, and then I can start my squig off next week.
Nice.
So I was talking to Miles earlier when I picked up Kieran's socially distanced, picked up his Lehman Russ and Wolves. Uh, and he was saying that he's started doing a new process where he's more like glazing rather than using block colours.
Oh, nice.
And he suggested doing that, but it sounds terrifying.
Yeah, he's very good at his painting, but I would not have his patience for a lot of the techniques he uses. He's
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
certain
it.
definition.
I think that's a lot of it is like patience and I want them done now.
There we go.
So yeah, but I'm just kind of just enjoying picking away at them slowly this time, doing it on the stream. That's been quite nice. And I've been getting stuff done as well, rather than just going, yeah, I'll do them eventually.
Yeah, it's nice to actually feel some progress, as it were.
Yeah.
There you go. Two front ones done. Nearly shaved. And I've managed this entire stream without cutting myself, which is a bonus. He says, especially given my slightly haphazard tool use. Don't try this at home, kids. Gotta love me a razor saw though. Oh, okay, okay, lovely. Before I fix those on though, I think I want the side plates as well. What time are we playing to tonight, Ricky?
Well, yeah, I'm more or less done because like I haven't got anything here that I can put on them that I can see. Stuff that are normally never off this workstation, this paint station, is aren't here today for some reason. So like my null and oil and Agrax, because I could have started like doing some washes on some of these bits, but no. So yeah, I'm ready when you are.
We will call it as an evening then. I've only got cutting and trimming to do, and I'll bring it back next week and show how far I've got.
Yeah, and the miniature chat on the Discord is one of the more active. So show us what you're building and everything. And then don't forget to join Sam tomorrow. But until then, I guess goodbye.
And goodbye.